Greetings everyone! Welcome to part 9 of the Iron Dominion Saga. Things are finally happening thanks to the last issue. The Iron Queen took control of Nicole, and as a result, the Iron Dominion successfully captured New Mobotropolis. Sonic, Tails, Sally, and Khan were the only ones to escape. Besides those guys. Hopefully these four can restore Nicole from Freedom HQ. We start with Sally blaming herself for not realizing the possibility of the Queen taking over the city's nanites and or Nicole sooner. Well, she's been hanging around with Khan a lot, so she might have gotten the same disease Snively got last time. But in all seriousness, people tend to forget things when focusing on something else, like Snively having his mind on ruling an empire with his hot girlfriend while simultaneously keeping her happy, or Sally figuring out her love life. Anyway, after Sonic tells Sally not to wallow in self-pity, Tails reports he's having trouble hacking Nicole. He can't type that fast. If speed's the problem, then Sonic has a plan to fix that. He has Tails break out the particle-to-light organizer and transporter, the same device used in issue 171, and he and Sally will get digitized and directly uploaded into the city's computer. Only problem is, the Iron Queen will detect them. Tails and Khan are staying behind in case the enemy launches an attack on Freedom HQ. Tails digitizes the two, and right away, they're outside the digital representation of the city. Iron Nicole appears and threatens them with deletion. Sally tries to reason with her that Nicole's coding is stronger than any threat she's faced thus far, and it seems to be working. But a whole new problem appears in the form of a giant digital Iron Queen. She wastes no time trying to purge Sonic and Sally. As for how the Queen got herself into the digital world, we see her in the real world using her staff as a conduit. Because it requires intense concentration, the Queen has no time for Snively. Instead, he goes to Lianda, who reports on stuff like their forces are rounding up civilians. This brings us to Uncle Chuck being led into a cell next to Crazy Eggman. He makes the fatal mistake of calling Eggman, as that is the catalyst for the Doctor's mind to begin regaining some semblance of sanity. Uh-oh. Back in the digital world, Sonic's trying to distract the Queen while Sally handles Nicole. Thing is, the digital world is Nicole's home turf, which means she can match Sonic in speed and ability. Tails believes the situation is looking bad. Hey, you know what might help Tails? Some blades perhaps that can be mounted to her wrists. And for added coolness, have the blades be made of lasers. But nah, that'll never happen. Instead, Tails answers Khan's question about the real-world location of Nicole's coding, and immediately the two-tailed fox puts two and two together. Tails intercepts Khan to try and convince him not to destroy Nicole. Khan points out it's hopeless to save her from the Queen. Tails rightfully points out that Bunny was saved by you, Khan, for the record, and you yourself was saved by Sonic, so it's not impossible to save Nicole. It'll just require some hard work. Meanwhile, Sally's easily conjuring up Rotor's firewall coding as if she was casting magic, only for the Queen to put a stop to it. Thankfully, Sally's attempt was just a test, and she's ready to do it for real. She isolates Nicole while Sonic bashes the digital Queen in the eye. I wonder if she felt that in the real world. Isolated from the Queen, Nicole's restored to normal. The good news is, Nicole's building a better defense against the Queen's magic. The bad news is, the Iron Nicole experience made her weak, and the enemy has fortified their position. Not to mention they have reinforcements in the Dragon Kingdom. A new plan is formed from this conversation. Nicole will act the part of her Iron Self, while Sally and the others break the Iron Dominion's main power base in the Dragon Kingdom. Good thing they finished talking because Sonic's done all the distracting he can. What did the Queen do to him? Before the Iron Queen can finish them, they disappear, and Nicole begins her role as double agent. Good luck, my dear. Sonic and Sally return to Freedom HQ thanks to Tails. It looks like the brief conflict between him and Khan has been resolved. Sally updates them on Nicole's situation and has everyone start packing. This issue ends with the four heading towards the Dragon Kingdom to break up the Iron Dominion power base. The story overall is simplistic. It's not necessarily a bad thing in this case. Sonic stories in any medium can range from complex to minimalistic, but here, it focuses on a single goal: save Nicole from the clutches of a mad woman. The method of doing so is interesting, having Sonic and Sally enter the digital world. For one, it gives the comic the excuse to reuse some previous tech. In this case, the particle-to-light organizer and transporter. And if I don't mention this now, someone else will. The device's name has a gag to it. Take the first letter of each capitalized word. You're welcome. The other reason for the digital world setting is the setting itself. It almost has a Tron or Matrix-like feeling, with Sally casting firewall code like magic, and Nicole matching Sonic blow by blow. I can buy stuff like this happening. The presence of the Queen adds another element to this. Sonic and Sally might have been ready for Nicole, but when the main villain gets her hands dirty, to be fair, the heroes pointed out that the Queen will detect their presence in the digital world. She's not taking any chances in losing this one. She's already come this far in her conquest. She took over the Eggman Empire, she took over the city of Eggman's greatest enemy, and she's even taken one of the Doctor's catchphrases. In the end, the heroes only managed a partial victory. Nicole's back to normal, but must now work undercover to weaken the Iron Dominion from within, while Sally and the others go abroad to dismantle their forces. You know, I'm surprised Knuckles wasn't mentioned during this conversation. SBO was the one that told him this in an earlier backup story, and I assume he passed this information on to Sally and the other freedom fighters. Now, if Sally came up with the idea to break the Queen's hold on the clans independently of SBO and Knuckles, then ultimately the backup stories featuring Knuckles and SBO were just there for character and providing info for the audience. It's a shame, really. I thought Knuckles would be able to help in some fashion. But again, he had his own problems in a recent Sonic Universe arc. Anyway, while all the conflict in the digital world was going on, there's this brief conflict between Tails and Khan over Nicole's fate. Khan believes Nicole can't be saved due to her completely artificial nature. He's basing this on the fact that the Queen can't control him, a cyborg. Tails defends her because he and the rest of the freedom fighters see her as more than artificial. They witnessed her evolution from a glorified tricorder to what she is now. Thankfully, this is quickly and easily resolved, or else people would hate Khan even more, though it's probably too late for that. In his defense, he's not used to hanging out with people who have Sega plot armor or have been associated with people with Sega plot armor. This brings us to a small but pivotal moment: Eggman beginning to piece that fractured mind of his back together. As I said before, the Iron Dominion Saga is a break from the status quo, and it's time for it to slowly reassert itself. Boy, is Snively in for a wake-up call, but that's for later. I'm giving this issue an 8. It's a fine outing with some creativity and some good character moments. We've reached a junction in the Iron Dominion Saga. We could proceed to the next issue and explore the occupied New Mobotropolis in greater detail, but to do so means missing out on 1/4 of the complete saga. Remember, at the end of this issue, these 4 heroes are off to the Dragon Kingdom. This plot thread continues in the pages of Sonic Universe. Because things happen in the Sonic Universe arc that will affect the upcoming issues, we too will follow the quartet into the spin-off book. So join me, won't you, as we head off to Sonic Universe issue 13 and the beginning of the Iron Dominion sub-arc, Journey to the East. All I want to be is someone who needs to flee from a giant woman.